This is project 6B, questions.py. This project, we're supposed to create a kind of chatbot that answers questions based on AI, NLP, and neural networks, depending or based on a corpus that we created previously. So I'm just going to run this. I'm going to start by asking it the questions that we're supposed to ask. So what are the types of supervised learning? And you can see I created a loop so I don't have to start up the script every single time. So I'm just going to ask it the second question. Was Python 3 released? And the third of these questions was this one right here. Then to just ask it some more random questions, let's ask this one. And finally, let me just input one. For example, what is AI used for? There goes. AI is heavily used in robotics. Also, after adding the loop, I also checked the input of the sentence that I put in. And I made sure that if some nonsense sentence is introduced like this right here, or just random words which are not of importance, I'm getting feedback to enter a valid question. And finally, to exit the loop, I can just type exit, and it terminates the script. All right, so this is the script right here. This is the main function. So here it checks if all the arguments were given. For example, if you don't add corpus, then it throws you out. It loads the files, and then here's the while loop. So it's asking for a query. This is where you insert your sentence, and then I did three things. So after this query was given or was typed, I first check how long it is and if it contains the word exit and X. And if exit or X are the only words, then I get the feedback, okay, see you later, and the script is terminated. Otherwise, if the length of the query is under 1, then I get the feedback to enter a valid question. And this is going to be under 1, even if I have a bunch of words, but if there's some of the most commonly used English words, which we filter out later on in another function. For example, if I type like before, what is this? And there's no keywords, then it's going to ask me to answer or to enter a different question. And finally, if it's a valid input, then it runs this script right here. So this is a load files function where basically I give it a directory and it uploads all the content of the files in the directory into a string. Then there's a tokenize function where it returns a list of all, well, it says up here, it returns a list of all words in a given document in that order. So you tokenize the words. You use the lower function to make sure that you disregard upper and lower cases, and then you filter out the words which you don't want there. For example, the most used words in English, like what is this, and so on, so on, so on. And you also filter out punctuation. Then you append the words which are not stop words into a list, and that list is returned. Then you compute the IDFs, so you basically rank the words by the IDF value, and you return this IDF, which is a dictionary having all the words and the IDFs. And then based on that, so on the query you have on the files in the IDF, you figure out which of the files in the corpus or in the dictionary for the corpus is most relevant, and this is returned. And then you also do this for the sentences, where you calculate, again, based on the IDFs, the most important sentence, and here you also use that query term density, which is down here. And the result is that you basically get your top most important sentence, which is returned, and which then is printed out to the screen.